from 9 to 9, I'm out in the field where
Yeah.
the work is real, and we save our money. So what we do, we go on a trip before the season start. I take my family on a trip before the season start. We're gonna ball out, have fun because they know daddy gonna get to work. And I thank God for my wife because she don't give me no grief. She controls my schedule, so she know I love what I do. What really made me want to start my own business, well, I was working with this one contractor. He had his family with him, just like you. He had his dad, he had his wife, he had everybody with him. Not only this guy is working with who you want to work with, he is taking his time with his family. And that motivated me more than anything. That was the click for me to start my own business.
Hola, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Reliable Trades podcast. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and you like this video. And if you're listening to this on the audio over on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or any other platform, please leave a review. That's all free and it helps support the show and helps it get out to more people. And of course, I'm your host, Adrian Garcia. I am an HVAC technician, licensed contractor here in Texas, and I've been doing this about 18 years. And we just have a lot of good conversations with good people in different trades now, whether it's HVAC, plumbing, electrical. I've had some others in like auto mechanics, anything like that. You bring them on, have a good conversation, and hopefully get more trade awareness out there. So I appreciate everybody who's watched or listened, all the support and making this podcast successful and what it is now. I also want to thank the sponsors of the show, like Jobber, which is a CRM that we use to run our business, which is invoicing, quoting, scheduling jobs, maintenance contracts. It makes it so easy, and all our technicians on our team usually pick it up relatively quickly. I just have to show them what it is, and they are able to get out there and start, invoicing everything that needs to be done. I can also update prices, client list, everything remotely, and they have it there on their phone, tablet, or laptop. It's been great running our business with Jobber now, and if you guys want a free trial and discount, make sure to check the link down below, getjobber.com/reliable HVACR. I also want to thank Vito Pro Pack, the best quality bags that money can buy, literally. Spring promotion is the best time of year by far. So check out Vito Pro Pack at your supply house or go to vitopropack.com to learn more. And the podcast is also brought to you by Local. Local HQ is a marketing that is geared towards the trades, and they can help you with your HVAC digital marketing so that you can dominate your local service areas with proven strategies that get your business more leads. They can help you rank higher on Google and all that you would need for your business. So reach out to Local at localhq.com/reliable and mention me or the Reliable Trades podcast and get 2 months of SEO for free. All right, Mr. Dent, welcome to the show, man. Appreciate you taking the time.
I'm glad to be here, man.
It's been like you said, a work in progress here, trying to get you on the show.
Bro, I was ducking and dodging like I owe you money or something, man.
I know, right? You've been staying busy, right? I see you
Oh
posting
yeah,
all the time, man. Are you a one man show?
yeah. Well, my wife is my office manager, and I'm sure
Okay.
I'm a technician. I do have some vendors, like when I'm doing an install, I have a couple guys that I call on, two or three
Oh, okay.
guys. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, and we'll get into the business stuff and all that because
Okay.
I've had that conversation with people because there's other people that like they're all about building something huge, which I don't know if you have any future plans to do any of that kind of stuff, but I'm a small business. It's me and my dad, and then
Yeah.
like his brother and my brother, right? So we're super
Mhm.
small. We'll
Yeah.
we'll subcontract a lot of stuff out if we need the help, but like we like to keep
Right.
it small. And I know other guys
Yes.
that do the one man show thing, and they're like, no, I don't want to hire anybody. Like that's what I want to do. I don't know if
Right.
you have any plans to expand or you want to keep it a small business.
Well, I want to keep it small. And when I say small, I'm thinking five or less. That's including
Yeah.
myself. So for the guys. So um here in Oklahoma, where I'm from, we have a program in the summertime where the electric company, they pay you to do their tune-ups. So
Oh,
that's when I hire guys through the summer saying, hey, I got a lot of work for you. We got over 3 million clients to serve. And hey, if you want to make some money, I can help you out. But that's during the
that's cool.
summertime. But I don't want no more than 5 people because that's a headache.
Yeah, man. Because when we started, like I said, it was me and my dad. My brother had not been on yet, and we hired like I don't know, like three or four guys, and
Hmm.
geez, dude, that just ran us into the ground. Like we went into the red. We lost so much money, and then we had to like
Yeah.
kind of think about it, and we had to let them go, and we
Yeah.
made a ton of money after that. Like we've been very successful after that. We
Yes.
hired like two guys since then, but like it took a while to get
What
back
year
to
did
where
you take off? What year did your business take off?
we started.
When you said you lost the money, and then you said when you got rid of them, you start making money. What year was that?
Oh man, that was like because we started in '07, so that was like five
Okay.
years into it. So like
Oh
after
man, you been in it for a long time. You ain't new to this. You true to this, man.
I've been in this almost 20 years, man.
Man,
I'm
20
up
years in the
I'm
game,
up
man.
there.
Something. Oh
I'm up
yeah,
there.
that's good.
It's weird to say sometimes, but yeah, I've been up there. I've been doing it about 18 years. So
That's
like
good. That's good.
5 years in, I think we were still trying to figure it out. And then after that, so like after 2012, that kind of year, we downsized, we just like hustled, and then we finally hired when we needed to. And it was just like
Okay.
one guy at a time, right? Like we didn't need to hire
Yeah.
like a whole crew. And
Exactly. Exactly.
somebody else told me, which actually is another Joshua. When I had him on my show, he was like, "You need to evaluate your business during the slow season, not during the summer, right? Because you
Yes.
got to keep
Yes.
those guys busy all year round." So that's kind of
Hmm.
how we went about it too. Cause
Yeah, the wintertime really tests your
oh yeah,
it really tests you, because during the summertime, my wife and I, she knows that hey, from 9 to 9, I'm out in the field where the
yeah,
work is real, and we save our money. So what we do, we go on a trip before the season start. I take my family on a trip before the season start. We're gonna ball out, have fun, because they know daddy gonna get to work. And I thank God for my wife because she don't give me no grief. She controls my schedule, so she know I love what I do. So we be booking, and we save our money during the summertime, and we live off it. Of course, after taxes, we live off it
yeah.
in the wintertime. But thank God, we still busy through the winter too.
We've been busy the past couple years, like way more than before. I don't know if it was like after COVID or something. Like it
Yeah,
just went up year after year.
yeah.
Because
Hmm.
we've been busy. I still been doing work where, and like a part of me gets a little like frustrated because I'm like, man, this is usually my time off or time to rest
Yeah,
or catch
yeah,
up, and we've still been busy. Like I have calls, lining up, and trying to get some time to myself is kind of hard right now.
yeah.
Quick introduction: who are you? What kind of work do you do? And you already mentioned that you're from Oklahoma, but kind of quick intro.
Sure. My name is Joshua Dent. I'm an HVAC technician. I know I do majority residential. I do light
Yeah,
commercial, but mostly residential clients. And I'm from Oklahoma City. 37 years old. Been married to my wife Jean for 18 years. 18 years. Got married fresh out of high school. You didn't ask for all that, but yeah.
yeah. So we're the same age actually. How long have you been in the trades?
I've been in the trade. I got out the army in 2012. So from
Okay.
2012 to now.
So then after high school, you decided to get into the army or the military?
Yeah, I
How did
went. I
that
went to the. I went to the army fresh out of high school.
any reason? Like were you
No, for the yeah, the reason I went because I was gonna play football. So I took my SAT and everything, and I was gonna play football. Well, they didn't call me back in time, and I was like, man, I'm not about to be a bum. So I'm joining the
mm,
military. And then the moment I signed my contract, that's when the football coach called me and said, "Hey, you ready to come play?" I was like, "Nah, coach, I'm finna go to the army."
dang. So you had
Yeah,
a football career too.
yeah, I had a football scholarship.
Man, that's tough, dude.
It's all
Cuz I
good. It's all
cuz
good.
I was into sports, so like I understand that part of it. I was into basketball and stuff. I never got into football, but I was really into basketball. But it's good that you had that forward thinking, like you need to do something
Yeah,
because I
Okay.
didn't. I was like, I'm gonna play basketball, and that's all I'm gonna do. My parents were like, no,
Yeah.
you need to find something else. It's hard.
Oh
As a
yeah,
kid,
that's
trying to
2%.
figure out what you want to do.
Yeah, yeah. You'll be amazed how many adults over 30 are still in that situation, don't know what they want to do.
That's that's the thing, man. So, doing the social media stuff, I love talking to the younger guys, and seeing how much
Hmm.
they are into it. The guys that are in the trade already, early
Yeah,
20s, like doing really good work. And I tell them just put a little bit of effort into it, because we need good technicians and stuff like
yeah,
that. But
yeah.
um, like I said, I wish I had that drive when I started, because I just wanted a paycheck, and I was like, I'm gonna get in and out. I started working for my dad. I actually worked at a grocery store before, and
Okay.
I was just doing just the routine every day, like waking up, go to work, get home. Like I didn't really care too much. And then got into the trades, and then I
Mhm.
started having to work for it, hustle and learn, and like I don't know, that kind of like intrigued me, interested me. Um,
Yeah,
did you
I
do
had to be.
any? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you do any type of work related to HVAC or anything, or trades while in the army or anything?
No, I was I was a fueler. I used to do aviation fuel,
Oh,
so
okay.
I didn't do no trade. But my dad, like, I guess trades. This might sound crazy, but the trade skills, just being a handyman, is kind of in my blood. My dad is a jack of all trades. It
Okay.
ain't nothing that guy can't fix. Like seriously, like before he pay somebody, he would try to fix it before he pay somebody, and it was just, I guess, just in my blood. Never did. I ain't gonna say I never did, but I knew how to change my tire because I had to grow up fast. I moved out the house when I was 16, so
Oh,
yeah, I had my own apartment in high school. Still graduating and everything, but
dang.
like I had to know how to change my tires and stuff like that, and I was already kind of handy, but like HVAC skill trade, like certified, no, I didn't have no experience before.
Okay. No, it's just because I've talked to a few people that get into the military, and then they find HVAC afterwards or whatever. And then I've heard of other people that, they go into the military, and then they get into one of the programs there, and, they get a head start.
Mhm.
But like it's funny that you mentioned that you had to grow up fast, because I'm the
Mhm.
oldest of three. I have two younger
All right,
brothers. I
all
was always
right.
the one that had to watch out for them, take care of them. And I
Mhm.
still kind of feel like that, because one of my brothers does work with us, and I still try to protect him at work. Like I'm like, no, I'll do it. Don't worry. Like I'll do it. But
Yeah, yeah.
I had to grow up fast too. And then I thought I was quick. I was like, at 18, I was ready to move out. I went to go, I saved up. I got everything I needed to, got an
Yeah.
apartment, and try to live, in my own life and stuff like that. But 16, that's kind of tough, man.
Yeah, yeah. It's all good, man. It's all
How are you?
good.
How are you prepared to move out at 16,
Well,
or were you not
my
prepared,
story goes, huh?
or were you not prepared?
I wasn't prepared. So in high school, I got my own apartment, and then that's when I met my wife, and life just began from there.
Most kids don't move out that young, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm over here trying to move out at 18, and trying to make sure I had everything lined up, and that's interesting. Yeah.
I started, doing stuff at a young age and thought I was grown, and hey.
I was also thinking about, like, because I asked you about being prepared or anything like that, because like I tried to have money. I tried to, save up, even though working at a grocery store, I was trying to make sure I did that. And I tell people now, whether you're just, you know, young in the trades, or you're trying to run a business, whatever it is, like you're going to have
Yeah.
to be prepared, save money, be good with your money.
Yes.
Cause
Yes.
I'll be honest, like I'm not like super rich over here. And that's kind of why I brought up the big businesses. Like some of them, oh, be a millionaire, be a multimillionaire, things like
I
that. That's what you
know.
need. That's what you need. That's what you
Hmm.
want. Like, no, not everybody needs that, right? And
Right.
we're good
Right.
with our money. Like you said, as a business, you can save during your busy time, put some money aside,
Yes.
or just make sure you don't spend it all, right? And then you
Right.
have money for the off season, or when it slows down, stuff like that. I do that
Yes.
with my life too. Like I was never good about saving, but I've been better about it now. And like we do those,
Yeah.
you mentioned those trips, right? without those trips, because right now, like we try to take or plan trips throughout the year, so I can kind of like decompress. Because without that,
Yes.
I would go
Right.
crazy. Be good
Yeah.
with your
Yeah.
money, and that's
Yep.
something I've always been good at. But
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
that's my mom. My mom was really good. My dad was always spending money, so like I had to learn from both of them.
Yeah.
And my dad's the one
You
that
know,
opened the business.
yeah, it's all good, man. See, we learn. We gotta grow, man.
Yeah, like you said, your wife helps you out on that on the business and
Yes.
everything. Like my mom
Yes.
kept my dad in check, spending
Yes.
wise and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also want to thank Diversitech. They simplify your work. They have everything a contractor needs to complete a job. That goes from equipment mounting, condensate, management, tools, maintenance chemicals, electrical components, indoor air quality, and much more. They have different branches under the same umbrella. More than likely, you're already using some of their products or tools. So go check out diversitech.com, and it's your one-stop shop for everything HVAC. I've gotten a lot of compliments on these line set penetration covers. They're basically, when you get an install done, you have the line set coming out the house or whatever a wall you came out of. You normally have to put like foam spray or cover it up somehow. Eric's has these covers that just look professional, and I like the form factor. I've seen others and they're a little bit too bulky. This one, it just gives you what you need. They have two different models. If you need a slimmer one, they have that too. And what I really like is they finally have now one for existing line sets. Now it's two pieces, and you kind of just put them together over the line set and then mount it and drill it in. And it's a good selling point to make an existing install look better. I've gotten so many compliments, like I said. So make sure you go over to ericsmfg.com and check them out.
I know when I first started, that money was coming in so good. I'm like, this ain't gonna never stop. Yeah, then I spent my first winter. And yep, learned real
Oh
fast.
yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, when we started, like I mentioned, those first 5 years, whatever it was, like there was times I didn't get a check. Like I couldn't
Oh
get
wow.
paid, right? Because my dad runs a business. I'm technically an employee, so I have to get paid
Yeah.
and this and that. And I mean, there's payroll and all that, but there was times I didn't get paid because we couldn't keep up. Like we couldn't keep ourselves busy. Stuff happened. I think we
That's
had too much success early also. So
yeah.
like you said,
Victory
like
has defeated you.
yeah, you're like you're like, I'm good. The money's coming in. It's always going to be like this. And when it stops,
Mhm.
you're like, oh crap, because somebody took our business from IHOP, and then we didn't have any money because that's all we
Yeah.
had. Speaking of your wife, I've seen clips. She's over there moving around condensers, working with you in the field. Like she actually
Yep.
helps you out on the job, right?
Yes, yes. She helps me out on the job. Been there with me, don't mind working, don't mind getting in the attic. Hey, she'll hop in the attic too now.
I
She'll hop
saw
in the
that,
attic.
man.
Yeah. And with that being done, that's why she respects, like, you know how, man, you come home frustrated sometimes because you get sometimes, and she don't give me no grief. She knows what I go through because she been in the field with me, so she know, like, when I say, man, they didn't pookie the inside of the furnace and it won't come out. She knows, like, oh man, it's gonna be a long day. So let me, if another person call, I'm gonna book them 2 hours
Mm,
later, or somebody put screws on the back of the doggone furnace. Yeah, she gets the lingo, and when I say that, she gets the schedule, and she understands. And if I'm
that's right.
frustrated, she don't give me no
Yeah,
grief about it because she
that's right. Cause
knows.
she takes your she schedules for you, right? So she takes your calls and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Send all
Cause
the invoices and stuff like that.
well, even for me, like I've been in a relationship where they they don't understand what we do, and I get I would get crap when I get home and stuff like that. And now I'm in a relationship where she understands. Like she's been really good about it. So, and I even have somebody to talk about it with sometimes, right? Because
Yeah,
sometimes you're like so upset and you just vent when you come home, right? Like you said, you might have some weird things that you run into at work, and you're like, man, what were they thinking and why did they do
yeah,
this? And you have some of those long ass days, especially during the summer. So I totally
man.
get that. And I think you do need that. somebody that you're with that understands, at least, it doesn't have to be in the field, but that's kind of
Yeah.
cool that she is. And
Oh yeah.
because we go through a lot, dude, like especially
Oh
during
yeah.
summer.
Oh yeah. Mama been in with mama. She wanted. If we had them small babies, she'll be with me still. But I had to mess around and get her pregnant. So my bad.
You got like a full house over there. You said
Man,
you had like
what?
four?
4 kids and a wife.
No, but yeah, that's a big one, dude. Like if you're with a partner that doesn't understand, like they'll never get it, like unless they actually know, like unless they see it, or like they go with you, whatever it is. Because I'm drained sometimes. I'm frustrated. And I'll just come home and either I vent or I'm just like there sitting down,
Mhm,
quiet.
mhm.
I don't know
Fine.
if you've ever had those days where you drive home without even the radio on or anything. You're just like
Oh man, all
silence.
the time. That's how I roll. That's how I roll, man. You gotta think I'm always around noise because I got 4 kids. So if I get a chance to get that peace, man, I'm riding in my car, not a sound. That's the best music.
Yeah, man, that's always the thing, right? It's like, man, you had a tough day. You're driving in silence, and that's okay.
Yeah, yeah. But my most frustrating season is the winter. Summertime is I can blow and go, man. Of course,
I'm
on
like that
install
too.
days.
No, I'm like
Huh?
that too. I'm like that too because I tell people, like, I'd rather be on a hot summer day. For me, it's a rooftop.
Yes.
I'd rather be on a hot summer day, staying busy, doing what I'm used to doing, and
Yep.
like I'm okay with it. I actually don't like the winter myself either.
Yeah.
Now you have kids, I understand, but she helps you with the
Mm.
managing the business, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
How long
Yes.
have you
Yes. Yes.
been in business for yourself?
Been in my for myself with my name on the line since 2018.
Okay,
So
so
we've been on
you're
our own independent since
okay.
2018.
You're almost up there on 10 years. You're doing pretty
Yeah.
well.
I still feel like a rookie though.
Yeah, and it's there was a like here. I always pay attention to the other companies and stuff like that, and I'll see some pop up. Like I feel like everybody tries to get into it kind of quick, and they
Yeah.
I'm always paying attention, like if they're around a year later, 2 years later, and a
Mhm.
lot of them are not. So it's always good when you can stay in business. That's why I'm always like, man, we've been doing this 18 years. I don't take it for granted.
Man, yeah,
It's
you
not easy
rocking.
to stay open.
Yeah. What would you say like the number one killer? I mean, but of course, when you try to grow too fast, but like,
Yeah.
what else can kill a business within that year? What do you think it is? I was always been curious of that.
Yeah, like it's been a couple things for us, and I can only speak for what we went through, but um spending money is one thing. So like what I try to tell people, because I've seen some guys start up a business, they get a brand new van, it's fully wrapped, like they buy all the expensive tools. I'm like, you might want to pump the brakes on that, right? So we started with used, and we still do it here and there. We'll go get a used van, and it might already be
Yeah,
outfitted with shelves and everything, and I can pay it cash, right? So just pay it; it's
yeah,
already paid off. And then when we started, I think I mentioned this recently in a video. Like when we started, I had hand me down recovery machines and vacuum pumps. Like I didn't get new ones, right? Like
Mhm.
you gotta build that up. And
Hey, I
then
started the pawn shop.
yeah, and that's a good way. We bought ours off of some guys that were like looking to get rid of it. So I had an old ass recovery machine for a few years until I actually wanted to buy my own. And
Hmm.
I just tell people not to spend, like we mentioned it earlier, like don't spend all your cash like right away. So you don't have to get a new van, you don't have to get a new equipment. You can get it used and still do the work. I mean, 80% of it is skill. Like you really only need the tools that you need
Yep,
for,
yep,
certain jobs, but like a lot of it's
yep.
just skill. So, we had to learn that not to spend too much because we spend a lot here and there. The guys that we had spent too much money when we started. That was a big issue.
Yeah.
And just making sure that we charge right, because that's something that I always argue with my dad. Because when we
Yes.
started, I think he wanted to start at like 45 an hour, labor. This was obviously 18 years ago, but he was trying to be competitive, and I was like, we need to bump it
Yeah.
up. And then like I got him to bump it up every few years, but like it was like really tough for him because he's worried. there's always going to be someone cheaper than us. I'm like, I know, but like,
Yep,
if
yep,
we're not
yep.
making the money, we're gonna go out of business. So
Hmm.
making sure that we
Hmm.
charge, and it can be now. I'm like, for anything, right? Use some wire nuts, PVC, even if it's like a little bit, like charge a fee for it, because
Yeah,
that stuff adds up too.
yeah,
So making
yep.
sure that we have our stuff charge, like we charge correctly, because that was a big
There you
issue
go.
for us when we started, because
Yeah,
you don't know anything when you start, right? Like, I don't know
right.
about you. When you started, you had to figure out your prices, your charging,
Yes,
your quotes,
yes.
that kind of stuff. That's probably the
Hmm.
most difficult for a lot
It
of
is.
people.
It is. And that's a question that I get a lot, from social media stuff. They're like, how much do you charge for that? And I don't
Yeah.
discuss price online because your market is different. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that
Everybody's
I wish
different.
I agree with you. Pricing is the toughest part of the
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. Me and my dad were trying to figure it out. And at
Okay.
one point, I was like, look, if you don't know what to charge, like I was telling him and some of my guys, I'm like, this is like our upcharge, our minimum upcharge, right? If you get stuck, or I don't answer, or you don't know, at least charge this much over. So we started
Yep.
doing that, and it covered us pretty well. But yeah, the charging is the hardest part, because like where I'm at, it's a low income, a low cost of living area.
Mhm.
So like we're not over $100 an hour, even, because only a couple other companies are, and we don't want to be the
Right.
highest one. So
Right.
we're right there, right in the middle.
Yep.
And
Yep.
as far as pricing, usually our quotes are just a little bit under. We're always in the middle. That's always where I like to be at, personally.
Yep.
So as you go, you're gonna learn what other companies charge and what everybody's bidding. We do a lot of bids
Yep.
and quotes on
Yeah.
commercial accounts and stuff, and you find out what everybody charges, and that's what I think that's always the hardest part, is what to charge.
Yes, it is. It is. Now, especially on repairs, the quotes. People like tell people like, "Hey, give me your quote after you've seen other people's." I
Yeah,
want to be the last one. I want to
we've
be the
done that
last
too.
one.
Yeah, we've done
Yeah.
that too. But yeah, man, like it takes a while to figure that part out when you run a business, because you got to make your money, and
Yes.
customers will make you feel bad. Customers will tell you, things here and there, but you got to stand your ground.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What made you want to start your business?
That is a great question. What really made me want to start my own business? Well, I was working with this one contractor. He had his family with him, just like you. He had his dad, he had his wife, he had everybody with him, his whole family, and they took a 2 hour lunch break. And nobody gave them any grief and everything. I was like, not only this guy is working with who he want to work with, he is taking his time with his family, and that motivated me more than anything.
Yeah.
Picking who you want to work with and doing, spending time, as much time as you want to, doing that what you want to do. Of course, we got the work done, but guess
Hmm.
what? He also enjoyed his family at the same time, and that was a click for me to start my own business.
And that's the thing, because like my dad's my boss, basically, right?
Yeah,
I started under him, and then he does cooking equipment, so we don't even do the same trade, but I do, the HVAC. I guess we're partners, half and half.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I still have to run, half of the business, but and he doesn't like to do any of the paperwork, so I've been stuck with that ever since we started. So he doesn't do computers, so I've always done that part of it. But he doesn't give me any crap if I finish quick, or as long as the job
Yep,
is done. He's like,
yep.
you're good. You want to take a break, you want to take half a day off, whatever it is, like, you're good. And then I got my kids too. I got two kids. So if they
Oh,
ever need anything, and I've always been adamant about that, right? Like, I can, like you said, you can pick and choose. So not only can we pick and choose who we do business with, and I don't have to worry about, you know, not enjoying work because of a
yep.
certain place or a certain person.
Hmm.
We can just not do work for them. But also, if I got to go, I'll tell the customer, like, I'll come back, or I'll reschedule if it's not an emergency. Obviously, emergencies, you got to do what you got to do. But
Yeah.
if it's not super important, it doesn't have to be done that day. I can schedule my work around my family, my kids. So I pick up
Hmm.
my kids from
Hmm.
school when I can.
Yep.
If I need to, I'll take them into school. If they have any events, I'm gonna be there. If they do anything like that, because that's what the kids remember too, is
Yes.
if you're there or not. That's
Yep.
a big one for me.
Yep. And that's a big one for me. I take my kids to school. I don't pick them up
Okay.
now, but I take them to school. I take them to school, and you know, I take I take my oldest son with me to work. He know if he come to work with me, he gonna get some. That's why he comes.
I've been planting that seed with my own because he's 11 now, and he's
Oh,
been.
mine too.
Oh, really? He's been
Yeah.
he's been asking, for money here and there, and I'm
Yep.
like, hey, if you come work with me and your grandpa, you get paid. So he's been
Yeah.
asking now. He's like, okay, when can I work and when can I do this? I'm like, all right, I'm just planting that so that he can come
Yep.
by and be with us later on. But it's
Hmm.
and I think what you were gonna say earlier was like it's not about the money, and for most people
Right.
it is,
Yeah.
and I get it. You can, but I think that's like a misconception too with starting a business. You're not
Yep.
even if you start a business, you don't start rich. You
No.
you can be a really good technician with really good pay at some place. Once you start a business, you start at the bottom. You start over.
Yes, you do.
And I'm sure you've experienced that cuz like going from a full-time job, benefits, whatever it
Yeah.
is that you have, and then you got to get everything on your own after that when you
Yes,
start a
sir.
business.
Oh yeah. I've been there,
You
done
got to
that. Got a t-shirt to show it.
you got to hustle.
Yeah.
That was the whole
Yeah.
thing. And then my dad, when he started, that's all I saw was like how much he hustled and
Yeah.
getting customers. And that's okay. That's the other thing that I was going to mention when you asked the hardest part about opening or starting a business. The first few years, I had to learn customer service. I've never learned that, and I think residential you deal with it more. So I don't know if it's
Yes.
easier for you or if it's tough for you. It was tough for me to learn the customer service because I was really good at doing my job,
Yep.
but talking to the customer before and after was always the toughest part for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the easy part for me because I used to sell life
Okay.
insurance, so it was all about customer service and people first. So talking to people is, it wasn't a thing for me. So and plus, like I said, I was in an apartment complex, so you
Yeah.
always have people watching you, and it got to the point where if nobody is hovering over me, I get worried. Like, you trust me? What? You're not watching me? Because in residential, people are watching you, man. Like they're like, oh, I'm not here. I just want to learn. Or they're trying to spark a conversation while you're working. So you got to learn to work and talk. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
one thing I had to master. I had to keep working, but yeah, hear their stories and answer their questions. But I'm working at the same time because time is money.
And and it's all billable. Like if you're talking, it takes a little extra time. I mean, that's on them. They made you they made you stay there an extra hour, whatever it is, you bill it. But yeah, like and that's good because maybe some kids that get into it don't understand that part because I've seen some guys that are like, and it's all because everybody's on TikTok and Instagram now, and I get to see everybody's work, and some of them will show when a customer's there, asking them a million questions, and I'm like,
Million.
to me, to me as a commercial tech, I'm like, how do you deal with that? But like, you have to
Mhm.
be. That's a skill that you need more so in residential, but just in general, I think you
Yeah.
need it in the HVAC trade because there's always going to be that customer that questions you or wants to know what you're doing, and I always respect the residential guys because you're in someone else's home, right? You're
Yeah.
going into their house, working on their stuff. Of course, they're going to be watching or curious about what you're doing. You're in
Mhm.
their house.
Mhm.
Me, I get the benefit. I go on a rooftop and nobody's up there, so I like that part about my job.
Yeah, that's good. I see. I can't do rooftops. No, I don't do heights. So
But you do
that's why
like
I couldn't do commercial. Huh?
commercial, no?
If it's a convenience store, if it's like a barber shop or a convenience store or daycare, but anything like more than 3 stories, yep, I'm out. Especially if
I
I gotta get that ladder and do it and go on the side of the building. Heck no.
They have luckily they have most of them have like a built-in ladder that we get with a
See,
roof hatch,
that's
and we
great.
get that. But yeah, I've been on some sketchy roofs, let me tell you, like where the ladder's like sliding off or it's real windy, and
Yeah.
those are the scary ones. But I remember when I started, we had this one like Well, it had its own little ladder. You had to get a ladder to get onto the ladder that was attached to the building, so it was like
Oh
super
my
high.
God.
And it was a huge building. So, I don't know, it was more than 50 feet. It was something crazy.
Yeah. No,
And
see that got me.
so I remember getting up there my first time, and I looked down, I'm like, oh, like the worst thing I could do was look down, and that scared the crap out of me. So
Yeah, yeah,
it took a while, but I got used to it, and I just try not to look back down when I'm going up a rooftop.
yeah.
I also want to thank our new sponsors, CallRail. So I've been more into marketing and just online presence with our business, even though we only do commercial. Word of mouth is really good for any business. But once you get to a place where you want to be, a big name online or just anywhere, be recognizable, like I said, online presence, have a nice website, be able to be searchable in Google and all these different search engines, and just have a big presence. You need to know where to spend your money, and all I'm going to say is that CallRail can help you track that if that's something that you're interested in. CallRail can tell you, hey, these are not working so much. These are working really good. Stop spending your money here. Put more money and effort into this, and just be smarter about what you spend. So make sure you go by callrail.com. They do have a no risk free trial, and you can check it out for yourself. I also want to thank another new sponsor, Residio. Basically, they help with a sustainable home, and they make it a safer, cleaner, and smarter home. They have so many things that work together. They were showing me the new thermostats that they have going on, how it's implemented together, and all these different little, smart devices that connect and talk to each other. So if you want to learn more, head over to residio.com and check it out for yourself.
More power to you, man. I got so much respect for you commercial guys because it's so many wires and you got a control board within a control board. And I was like, oh, heck nah, this ain't news.
Dude, I got into a place, and this is the one that I always mention that, almost kicked my ass, because
Mhm.
it was like these Linux units. So they had wires and several boards, and it was a simple light commercial unit, but it had all this stuff crammed into it. And somebody went in there and bypassed and cut all the wires, and they couldn't figure
Man.
out how to get it to work. So then I got called in. I opened up that panel, and I was like, oh my God. Like, it took me days to figure that out, like to put everything back together. And then I finally figured out, there was a bad board. I had to get that and put everything back together. But like, I was worried about that one because I was like, I don't know if I'm going to fix it. But like, when I
Yeah.
finally did after a few days, that was the best feeling in the world.
Oh man, I bet, dude. I'm telling you, that, boy, you feel good when you get like a trouble unit. Then they tell you like, oh, this person tried, and you do it, and then you be like, ah.
Is that It's that reward factor, right? So that's one of my
Yeah.
favorite things, is like being able to figure out a job or a call.
Mm, yes, yes, and that trade provides that too. You got like if you love compliments and love being appreciated, HVAC is the way to go, man.
Yep.
Because people would think I'd have had people like, "Thank you so much for fixing my AC and my heater."
In this trade, you get a little bit of all that. You get the challenge, and I think that's why I like what we do, because I do commercial, but we travel a lot. We see a lot of different kinds of equipment, and I'm like, yeah, if I see something new or different or difficult, that's what gets me excited.
You the man, baby. You the man.
I'm always like that, dude. Like, I can't sit still. I get bored easily. That's
Yeah,
I don't know if I was doing anything else, I'd be enjoying my job this much. Like, this is a
right, right.
job that I enjoy every day. It took me a while. I will say the first few years I didn't like it. I'm not gonna lie. And
Yeah,
then I learned to love it, and now I can't see myself doing anything else.
doing anything else, right? That's right. I feel you. I same way here.
So how do you, like, I know you have your family around a lot, and I've seen that where you take like lunches with them, like that
Mhm.
was, and I could tell that was something you were very, adamant about when starting your business. You saw the family time and
Yeah.
all that you could have for yourself. how do you balance family and work? Because just from what you post, I feel like you have a pretty good grasp on that, because that is a difficult thing to do. Some people can't do it. I'm trying to balance it myself. I'm trying to do more things with the family right now. Implementing days that we just hang out together. I'm trying to get that in my life too. But how do you balance it?
Well, no, the way I balance it, of course, my wife works with me, so that is like major, like cool. Cause I get, yeah, of course, we're gonna talk about work, but I'm gonna be
Yeah.
fraternizing a little bit too, grabbing on the booty, all that good stuff. And then we got two small kids that don't go to daycare, so they with us too. My oldest
Mm,
two, they be in school, but like I be excited to like I'm a big kid as well. Like I said, I had to grow up fast. So I'm excited after I go to work. Let's go to Chuck E. Cheese. Let's go to somewhere. Let's do this because I mean I love my kids. I do it for them, but I also do it for me too. So
yeah.
that's like they be excited to go to the movies. I think I'm more excited to go see Lion King as well. So that helps me balance because I love cartoons, I love games, I love spending time with the family. So just being excited to do that helps me balance it out, if that makes
Do you
sense. I hope
guys?
that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like you said, she'll schedule your jobs and stuff like that. Are you guys making time to do all this? Like, are you just, because some people, I don't know, maybe they're chasing the money. They work late. They take as many calls as they can. Stuff like that. You prioritize being home versus that, right?
Yes, right. We prioritize being home because our oldest son in basketball, so we know on Tuesdays and
Okay.
Thursdays from this time to this time we do not work. So we ain't hustle like that anymore. At first we was. I like
Yeah, you have
don't
to.
I ain't turning down nothing but my collar when it come down to work. Now that we kind of got it, we got the monkey off our back with the bills and we okay now, we can set time to say, okay, let's put the person off to tomorrow, or let's block off this time. So we kind of got it down packed now, where from this time to this time we don't work, and from this time to this time, balls to the wall. Let's go.
And did you find it difficult to do that, like being able to turn off work, or did it come easy to you?
At first it did. I ain't gonna lie. It was like, hey, work, 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 work. And then my wife was like, that's all you talk about, And I was like, that is. So
I
I changed it
Yeah.
up. Started asking about her. I had to learn it. I ain't gonna lie. It ain't just come, them first couple years was like, hey, let's go. I'm here, let's get it. But after that, seeing just taking a step back and realizing like, wow, this is affecting my family and all I talk about is work and let's go and I had to balance it out. So I had to have a wake up call.
I catch myself sometimes. I'm like, I'm talking too much about work, or I'm worried too much
Yep,
about work,
yep,
and then I have
yep.
to like switch it off and
hmm You gotta
talk
be
about some.
intentional. You gotta be
Yeah,
intentional about it. You gotta be like, okay, I realize I do this, so let me straighten up. Let's see
yeah.
what's
That's
important.
exactly what happened to me. Because and I could talk you know my girlfriend's ear off about work, and I'm like, okay, like let's change it, because I can see my or hear myself, and I'm like, it's too much.
Yep, yep.
And then I'll go to the kid, and I feel bad because sometimes that interferes with your kids, right? Like you're
hmm
always busy, 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 and no, we'll do that later. No, we'll do that
Yep,
another
yes.
time. And I had to catch myself too on that. And I'll put whatever I'm like, if I need to do something, I have to do it, right? If something needs to get sent out or emailed, like I'm like, okay, give me a
hmm
minute. Like, let me do that.
Yeah,
But if it's not
yeah.
important, if it doesn't have to be done that minute and they need something from me, I will drop work or whatever it
Yeah,
is. I'm like, okay, let's go watch whatever you want to
yeah,
watch, or play a
yeah.
game, or go outside. I listen more to them now. I'm like, I realized I was doing too much work before, and now it's like, no, I want that family time, because you're never gonna get that back.
Ooh. My wake up call for that situation with my oldest son, he be wanting to play the game and do stuff. My wake up call for that situation was when I knew I was too busy with work. When I was like, hey, we're gonna do it, and I end up don't doing it, and he started watching rap videos, and and he's starting to love rap, which I'm not against rap or whatever, but when he started copy that behavior, I said, okay, I got to get more involved in them, and I'm putting everything else aside to spend more time with them because I don't want them to be more influenced than me. So that was my
I had that
resolve.
recently. I had that recently.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm pushing them too much to,
Mm.
watch whatever's on TV or their
Yep. Yep.
iPads, and I'm like,
Hmm.
no, like, we're gonna do something. So we have, days that we're outside for a good while,
Yep.
or we have days where we take them out somewhere that they want to go to. And we have our game nights, which is like either board games or, a little Nintendo
Hmm.
Switch game or whatever it is, or movie nights. I've been really stubborn that I want these nights with the kids
Yeah.
so that
Yes.
they're not just like scrolling on something.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I had that same
That's
wake
my
up
record.
call.
Yep. Yep. That's it, baby.
It's scary right now, man,
Yeah.
because the kids they'll find something to watch, or they'll like anything, and they mimic
The auto
everything.
suggestion. Yes, and the auto, and then, like the way I swear, man, like my two youngest kids, we'll be watching Miss Houston, and next thing you know, on the the little ads that'll be on YouTube, a whole freaking Carly B commercial will come on. I'm like, whoa, how did this get mixed up with that? So that's why I said I had to be paying attention. So I can't be drowning with work and just in la la land. I got to be intentional. So
Yeah, my kids, I have one's 11 and one's 9, and they're almost teenagers. They're getting up there,
yeah.
so I get a little bit of the attitude and you know opinions from them now. And
Uh-huh.
sometimes I don't like that I'm around as much as I am, and I'm like, no, I'm like, I want to know what you guys are doing. I want to hang out with
Yep.
you guys, and I'm going to make it a point to do it,
Hmm.
whether they like it or not.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So, and I've had that conversation with a few guys now, like, and it's cool to hear that some people still prioritize the family time, because
Yes.
you can get
Yes.
lost in trying to get the money, trying to get everything that you
Mhm.
can, and
Yep.
like you said, and we had the same thing. You hustle when you start, and you can get comfortable and kind of pull back a little bit, because like when we started, we did all these jobs that we weren't even capable of doing. Where like, yeah, well, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that, and we're undermanned and everything, and those beat us up so bad. And then now it's like,
Yeah.
now like we pick and choose.
I can honestly say I didn't. I mean, more power to you because I hate to pull this card, but as a black person, I try not to do that because I'm already got a strike against me because it's like, do you really know what you're doing? So if it's something that out of my league, I don't say yes. I will quickly be. I didn't have clients. I look at some stuff. I like, nah, I'm cool. I don't want to do this. They're like, oh, you can do it. You can do it. I'm like, nope. My reputation is more important than my ego. Like I'll be quick.
Yeah,
I'm quick to walk away from a job and refer to someone else locally. I am not that type of guy where I'm too prideful to walk away. If the job is too much for me, hey, I'm not a technician for this, but I do know somebody that can help you. Mini splits,
that's
I don't work with mini splits.
I just put in my first one, but I did it here at the house. I didn't want to do it for a customer. I was like, I'll probably mess it up. But
Hmm.
that's a hard. That's also a part of running a business, is turning down work. Like if you just take everything, you're gonna screw yourself. So
Yep.
that's
Yep.
totally understandable. And I've had other people that, I mean, everybody runs into issues here and there because of like who they are or what they look like. So I've had women that come on here and they say the same thing. They have that chip on their shoulder, or that they already have, like you said, that strike against them.
Hmm.
I've even had guys on here that are Hispanic like I am, and I don't know I forgot where they were at, but they show up to a job site and they get turned away just because of, what
Yep.
they look like.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I understand that part of it, that you got to be careful with that too. But
Yeah.
just in general, also, taking on, saying yes to everything is not going to work. That's a big recipe for disaster.
Yes, it
And
is.
it's weird because like I have work too. Like I'll get calls and they need something, like they need a whole new duct job, right? Everything needs to be reducted, and we don't do that, right? I work on refrigeration equipment mostly, and I can fix ACs because it's
Mhm.
similar, but I don't do new construction. I don't do duct work. I don't do a lot of this other stuff. I did learn it, Like I did
Yeah.
know how to make duct from duct board and transitions and elbows. Like I've learned all that. Now I don't want to do it, and I don't want to do
Hmm.
it. I don't want to do it poorly, right? If I offer too many
Right.
things, you're not gonna do it. You're not gonna be great at everything. So
Nope.
it's weird because even on the refrigeration stuff, like sometimes they need a new walk-in door, like a new door, a new flooring, all this other stuff. And I'm like, I know what you need. I know how to, I have an idea of how to do it, but am I the best person for that? No. So we got a buddy that does amazing, um, you know, doors and floors and panels and walls. Like that's his bread and butter. So we will just subcontract him, and it
There you
looks
go.
amazing when he's done with
There
it.
you
So I'm
go.
like,
There you go.
the customer gets the best job, and we can just sub it out, and I don't have to you know worry about
You
messing
can have
up.
that peace of mind too, knowing that it's gonna get done right too. You know what I'm
Yeah, and then like even with
saying?
the residential stuff, I don't like doing residential. Like I know you gave props about the rooftop, but I give props to you for the attic stuff. I can't be in an attic. And
What? Oh man, that's my little a personal sauna. You know, that's how I lose all my weight.
hey, the trade, if you stay busy enough, this trade will get you in shape. That's for
Oh
sure.
yeah, oh yeah.
So I have buddies that do residential, and I'll give them work, and then they'll give me commercial work because they don't like doing commercials. So I mean, it works
Yeah,
out. You had your tool stolen not too long ago, right?
man, dude, it hurt me. They got me. They got me. You
Is that the
know,
only time that's happened to you?
the only time it happened only happened to
Okay.
me once. Yeah, at my house at 3:42 in the morning. I seen them on my camera, and the way they did it,
Jeez.
man, you can tell they was targeting me because, like, when they drove past, they stopped abruptly. Like they stopped, like, "Ooh, that's him, that's him." Back into my neighbor's driveway, looked in my truck, popped the window, took my bag, and bounced.
Dang, dude. Yeah, I remember seeing
Yeah.
that. I was like, damn. Did you have to go out and get new tools that same day?
Yeah, I had to get like a new tool bag, but I always keep a duplicate of stuff. Like, so I had an extra
Oh.
drill, I had extra screwdrivers, a crescent wrench, and stuff like that. Only thing I didn't have, what extra was my field piece meter and my Vito Pro backpack. And real quick, shout out to Vito Pro, man. They seen that video and sent me another bag, man. So
Hmm.
thank you, Vito
Hey,
Pro.
man. Yeah, Vito Pro Pack. I remember buying. I won't name the other brands, but I remember buying other
Yeah,
brands, and I would rip
yeah.
them so many
Rip,
times.
yes, yes.
So once I finally found Vito Pro Pack and switched to it, those have lasted. Like I still have bags that I've had for like 5 years or so,
Yeah. And
and
I'm rough
they're
on the bag. 'Cause I'm in the attic, so I'm always dragging it and pulling it. And hey, still no tears, man. Seriously, no tears whatsoever.
no, that's awesome, man. I've talked to them over there. They're great people, and that was good looking out for you on that.
Yes, yes, man.
But no, I've had mine stolen a couple times too, so I've had to deal
Really,
with it. It is a worst feeling.
man, it is, bro. It
Now
is.
it's probably worse because it happened at your house. I would be worried about it after the fact.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
well, you had cameras already. Did you do anything else
Uh-huh.
to
I mean,
after
this is the
that?
only thing I have with camera. I lock my doors and stuff. I mean, I lock my door, got my camera set up, and I try not. I mean, of course, I now I take everything out. You know,
Oh,
I
okay,
put it somewhere safe. I don't leave it in my truck no more.
okay,
I take it out. And, yeah, much better now. I mean, it takes an extra 5 minutes, but I rather do that than get my stuff
yeah,
stolen again.
yeah, man. Mine's never happened at the house. I think one time somebody did get into my van because I think I left the back door like unlocked or something, and they
Yeah, yeah,
opened it and like went to the front. But they must have been kids or something because all they took, and this was years, like many years ago. So all they took was like an iPod that I
yep,
had,
yep. Hmm.
and like some hats, or I don't know what else I had laying in the front. Like nothing to do with tools. They just took out
Yep.
like the electronic stuff. I was like, it had to have been kids. So they,
It had to be.
thankfully
It had to
that
be.
time, thankfully that time it was no tools. I checked. I'm like, I think everything's still here. So they didn't take anything expensive. But one time I did have it where I was working at a restaurant, and I left my tools by the door. I drove off, and we noticed, 5 minutes in, so I drove back. So I was gone not more than 10, 15 minutes, and it was gone. And apparently
Nobody know what happened.
nobody knew anything. And I was like I literally just left. And then, but my dad told me that that was that location. It's on the bad side of town, so that it just happened, to
Yeah.
be that way. But my dad was like, yeah, one time my drill went walking, on that
Yep.
job, and he found it in the guys in this and the managers. Needless to say, in the manager's truck, like the truck bed, right? And
Oh
the
my
guy's like,
goodness.
oh yeah, I was holding it for you. Like I didn't know, you left it behind, you left it on the floor or something. And then my dad's like, nah, like I was still using it, dude. So
Yeah, I'm just gonna borrow it for a long time.
then when I went back, I mean, I can't say anything. I didn't know where it was. I'm like, damn it. So
Yeah,
that time I had to go get tools again, and because I already had other jobs lined up. And
yeah.
the other time might have been, I think it was before this, but my whole van got stolen.
Oh,
Yeah, they just took the whole van and took it. So
I mean, did you leave the keys in the car, or what? Did
no,
you go get
it
some?
was actually a neighbor. Their son was a mechanic, and it was down the
Okay.
street from my dad's house. So it was like on the other side of the street, down the street. He was a mechanic, so my dad was like, "Oh, can you fix, like there was something wrong with my van. Something was going on with it." So I had to leave it there, take a spare van that we had, and my dad's like, "I'm gonna take it to this neighbor because their kid's a mechanic, really good mechanic. Whatever." Never heard back from him. Like, "Hey, is the van ready? Hey, is the van ready?" It was days later, and didn't know where he was. Nobody answered. My uncle saw my van because we used to work in all these weird places, right? So like
Yeah.
he was working south of here, which is like you're going to Mexico basically already. So
Okay.
he was working somewhere that we had a school district that was out there that we worked at, and he saw my van just driving down the street heading to Mexico,
Oh
and
my
he's like,
goodness.
he just happened to call my dad. He's like, "Hey, did you send Adrian over here to do something? Because like he's going a little further out than we work." And my dad's like, "No, that is the mechanic. So call the police, and if you can keep
Oh
an eye on it, you know, let me know." And thankfully,
man.
the cops showed up and they stopped him. I got my van back, but they had already wiped everything out of it.
Yeah, man. See, that's jacked
So
up. That's
so I
it's
had
jacked up.
so yeah. When I tell people about it, I'm like, man, I have a funny story. My whole van got taken. So that was a
Man,
an
that is
experience.
crazy. That's crazy.
I like to kind of end the shows, talking about the guys coming into the trade, things like that. Do you have any advice or anything as far as, you know, getting into the trades or maybe even about a business, opening a business?
Yeah, the question, man, the advice, because I don't know if you ever seen my video, but I tell people I'm not your HVAC daddy. You know what I'm saying? I don't give advice and stuff like that because, everybody got an opinion. But if I had to just say for the young guys that want to get into HVAC, I just tell them to Google your local state laws on how to become an HVAC technician. Watch YouTube because it's a lot of guys out there that teach HVAC and everything, and go on YouTube, study, get better. Go to school if you can. I mean, some people think it's pointless, but I think going to school
Did you go to
is
school?
great. I went to school. Yes, I went. The army
Okay.
paid for my school. Yeah, that's one of my things. My first sergeant said, he's like, "Hey, you getting out the army, go to trade school." And so I went to
Okay.
trade school. It was beneficial for me. It helped me get licensed faster. But you do learn most of your experience in the field. You know,
So,
but
with your schooling, did you feel comfortable once you got into the field? Like you learned a
yeah,
lot?
I went to a lot
Okay.
of school, and my school actually gave me tools like a starter kit. So they
Yeah,
gave
yeah,
me a
yeah. I was
starter
gonna
kit
say
for
because
school.
I went to school too, and they help you get your first tools, and you start up.
Yep,
You can actually have tools when you get out in the field, and
yep,
they tell you
yep,
what to buy, and they give you a
yep.
list of things that you need. So that helped me, and then also just being able to hook up gauges and check
Yes,
superheat and know all the lingo and stuff like that. And
and I think that was helped me get my first job because I did know the lingo. I didn't know nothing but the lingo, and
yeah,
that's how I got my first job.
yeah, because like I remember hooking up, you know, hoses and your gauges and everything, and we used to use. Now, see, this was like I said, 18 years ago. They had us on a charging cylinder, So that is like where it's like a old school scale, right? Now everything's weighed in, but it's this old school scale that they had us use, and the port was at the bottom, and I had to go under and hook up my gauge, right? They called on me to do it because it was a group of us just like learning about it, learning about charging and weighing in and all that. And they're like, "Oh, Adrian, can you come over here and hook it up and we'll get started?" In front of everybody, I had to go over there, and I kept screwing up. I couldn't even get the damn hose on the port.
Mhm,
So,
mhm.
thankfully that happened in school and not, in the field. But
Yes,
I
yes.
got to learn that.
Get that frostbite in your fingers and not wearing gloves.
I almost messed up my hand that day. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I had a client one time. Everybody got an uncle or somebody in their family that does HVAC. And this
yeah,
lady swore on a stack of Bibles of what her uncle said that was the problem. Like, for example, she was like, my uncle said it's low on, I'm about to say a word that got me in trouble with a lot of people. But it's like, my uncle said it's low on Freon. Okay. So I'm telling this lady, hey, it's not Freon. Freon is not the problem.
yeah,
Well, my uncle told me he been in business 20 years and he know what he doing. In that case, he ain't doing it? Why did he not fix the problem? Well, he don't do it
yeah.
no more. Kind of find out it was a capacitor.
Oh yeah, that happens a lot. I always ask them the same thing, like why am I here if you know somebody
Yes.
that does this?
Oh man, dude. Yeah. So that's my crazy story. Like just telling people, like, dude,
Yeah,
if that person who told you this problem, why they didn't fix it? Why am I
yep,
here?
yep. And the other weird thing I have to explain to people, because I'll work on like family and friends ACs when I need to, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once they hear that you do AC work, everybody calls your phone.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
hey, how are you doing? My AC's not working, but the weird one I always have to explain is like the refrigerant charge, right? Like if it's overcharged or anything
Yeah.
like that, I'm like, actually, we have to take out refrigerant to make it
Mhm.
colder. I know it's gonna sound
Yep.
weird, but some people, because I've gone behind people that they think it's low on refrigerant and they just keep pumping it in,
Yeah.
and we're
Keep
like,
on
we're
the
way too high.
coil is dirty than the Joker, man.
Oh yeah,
That be the problem.
yeah.
That coil is dirty. They don't watch that coil most of the time now.
You gotta that's part of airflow. You gotta check your airflow first, and if your coil's dirty, I
Mhm.
mean, a lot of times I've gone behind companies and I actually went behind one that wanted to replace like three compressors on a rooftop. And I went out there. I was like, this is a little, suspicious, right? So I plugged everything back in and everything turned on. But then they started going off on high head pressure. Like you could hear them
Yep.
like just overheating and turning off. I was like, let me just rinse down these condensers real quick, right? That's always my basic thing that I do.
Yep. Yep.
Black, blacker than hell, just water coming out, right? So I had to get coil cleaner and I rinsed it like I literally rinsed it like
Mhm.
5 times with that cleaner to get everything out. And I'm like, your compressors are good, man. Like you
Yep.
didn't need three damn compressors. So we've had that before.
Yeah, man.
I forgot to ask you, do you have any hobbies that you try to do as far as like, getting your mind off of work?
The gym. I go to the
You're a gym
gym.
guy.
Yeah, I'm a gym guy. We go. My wife and I, we work out together, so we go to the gym every day. Except I don't go on the weekend. She go on the weekend. She crazy like that. She go on Saturday and Sunday. Like I'm a
Oh, okay.
Monday through Friday guy.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too. I
I'm
have
a
to
Monday
have
through
like some
Friday.
days off.
Yeah, yeah. My wife go to the gym 7 days a week, no lie. Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like, but yeah, we go to the gym. Of course, I date my wife. Yeah, we eat some foodies at the same time, and I like to cook. Believe it or not, I like to cook.
Okay. Yeah, me and
Yeah.
my girlfriend, like we're on the foodie side of it too. Like we'll go,
Mhm.
and when we have time to ourselves, we'll go try like a new restaurant, or something
Yeah.
that we've never had before, or, something interesting. So we try to make that time too. And
Yes. Yes. Yes.
hey man, you got to stay in shape too, cuz
Yeah.
I've been trying to get back in shape cuz I feel like crap when I don't
Yeah.
work out.
I know you be feeling bad, like man, I'm gonna gain 20 pounds on workout today. Especially when you eat something real good and you didn't go to the gym, like, yeah, I'm about to get back fat.
Yeah, because I've slacked off before, but it affects my work because then I
Yes.
don't I don't move good. I feel sluggish, or I
Yep.
don't want to go to work, stuff like that. And when I work out, even if it's something simple, because I'll do like these little 20-minute workouts sometimes or whatever it is. If I, if I don't have that much time, like I'm like, I gotta do something. And
Yeah.
just doing that and sticking to it helps me at work like so much. Anything else you want to sign off on, or any
No,
parting
man,
words?
I'm happy to be here, man. Like Adrian, man, you're doing a great thing. What you're doing, man. I appreciate it. I love it. You are the truth, man. Like seriously, you're doing a great thing.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. And then I was excited to get you on, man. I've been trying to get you on for a good while.
I know I'll be nervous, man, because I'm like, me, like what
Well,
about me?
like,
But
how long have you been doing your social media stuff? Because I've kind of seen you, blow up on there a little bit.
yeah, my I started like last year. My last year, the way it started was crazy. Real quick, I won't be
Yeah,
long. My wife is a content creator, and
that's what I meant
she
to ask. That I had that in my notes because she does do something, right? And you kind of now do stuff together sometimes.
yes, yes. I started off with her. I started off with her.
Mm,
She did cleaning content and everything, and people kept asking like, your husband is home a lot. He helps you out a lot. Like, what do he do for a living? And my wife said, why just show people what you do. And so I
okay.
started, started just like that, and it took off.
So she gave you the nudge to get into it.
Yeah, yeah. Because I was all for her. Like, hey, this is, I'm here to help you, and I'm gonna be here for
Yeah.
you. And people kept asking about me. She was like, just, show people what you do. You should do something. And that's what I
That's
did.
cool. That's cool, man. Because you had your page get pretty popular, and a lot of people,
Yeah.
like you said, ask you questions. And I love when I get messages and questions and stuff, and I can kind of talk to people about different topics,
Yes, yes, yes.
and
And I try
you
not to be
help.
so HVAC-y, try to show like lifestyle, because in our
That's what I.
trade, people think we're just dirty and have no life, and cause Hollywood makes it look like that. Hollywood say, "Oh, they blue collar guys, they sweaty, they stinky, and they ignorant. They always dirty." But I try to show a little
Yeah,
different side of that.
I was gonna say I do appreciate the other aspects that you throw in there because that's how I mean, it's like a little window into your life. Like I saw that, your wife worked with you. I saw that you all had all this family oriented, stuff that you guys do. Like it's important to you. So it's cool to see that. And I think a lot of other people appreciate it because you do get a lot of comments and likes. I can imagine you get a lot of messages too and stuff like
Oh
that.
yeah.
So it took me a while to kind of get comfortable because I was just showing work. I didn't even talk in my first like videos. I would just
Hmm.
show the work and whatever. And then, I had to get comfortable to talk. And then now I'm pretty comfortable where I'll show anything. So I'm trying to be more open about like how we run a business, what I'm
Yeah,
doing in my personal life to kind of better myself. So that that's always a cool part of it. Like showing what
yeah.
you actually go through or what you do on a daily basis or what's important to you. So I appreciate that content you put
Thank
out.
you, thank you, man.
And thank you for taking the time for sitting down here. I know you're a busy guy, I understand, but this was a good conversation.
Yes, it was, man. Much needed. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for your patience too.
Yeah, man. So like I said, thanks again, everybody watching and listening. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yes, sir.